Hey ChemStars, let's pick up where we left off on that previous video. So we're looking at, is it the most common isotope, yes or no? So to determine that, you have to go to your periodic table, find the element. So we're looking at hydrogen right here. So if you look at hydrogen and find the average atomic mass that's printed, you'll notice that it's a decimal number, even though we taught you it has to be a whole number. That's a weighted average, and we'll get to it later. But here's a simple trick you need to know. Take that average, 1.008, and then round it to the nearest whole number. That rounds to 1. That means that the most common isotope of hydrogen is hydrogen 1. So let's go back to our chart. So from the periodic table, we discovered that the most common isotope of hydrogen is hydrogen 1, and that is what we have. So yes, it is the most common. I'm going to do, I think, 2 more examples with you, and then I'll let you pause and go through and fill out the rest on your own. Let's look at the second row here. So we have 12, 6, C. When you see that C, the first thing you should think is carbon. And you know 12 is the mass number. So let's see what else we can fill in. So we can say that the mass number is 12. It's carbon. It's atomic number 6. That means there's 6 protons. And like I showed you in the previous problem, protons right now always have to equal electrons. So protons will always equal electrons for this point in time. So we have 6 electrons. The only thing we don't have right now is neutrons. So let's look. Mass number is protons plus neutrons. We know protons, we know mass number. So basically the algebra we're doing is 6 plus question mark equals 12. So get out a calculator if you need to. So what is that question mark? 6. So this means this isotope of carbon has 6 protons in the nucleus, 6 neutrons in the nucleus, for 12 total things in the nucleus. Is this the most common element? Or a common isotope? For that, we got to go back to the periodic table. So let's zoom in on carbon right here. And its listed average atomic mass is 12.001. So round 12.001 to the nearest whole number. That's going to be 12. So this means 12 is the most common. And look at our chart. Yep, we're looking at carbon 12. So yes, carbon 12 is the most common. Oop. Okay, let's do one more, then we'll pause and have you go back. So let's see, atomic number 10 with 10 neutrons. Without looking at my periodic table, I can go ahead and figure out the mass number. 10 protons plus 10 neutrons gives me 20 things in the nucleus. So I know right now that the mass number is 20, atomic number is 10. That means there are 10 protons. That means there are 10 electrons. Those all have to be the same. I know everything except what this element actually is. So check your periodic table. What is atomic number 10? Neon. While we're here, let's take a second and look at that atomic mass number. 20.108. So nearest whole number is 20. So let's go back. The most common is neon 20. We now know that this is neon. So neon 20, 2010 Ne. Periodic table said 20 was the most common. Yes, that is what we have. So I want you to pause the video now, go through and try the next 3 lines on your own, and come back and let's see how you did. Welcome back. Let's go through and check your work on those last 3 problems. You should have gotten bromine 71. No, it's not the most common. If you go and check your periodic table, let's zoom in on bromine right here. Bromine 79.904. So 79.904, round that to the nearest whole number. That means that bromine 80 is the most common. So we were looking at bromine 71, definitely not the most common. It exists, but not the most common. Next line, palladium 107. So 46 protons, that's how you know it's palladium. Is it the most common? No. If you check your periodic table and find PD, palladium, let's see, where was that one at? You're going to see that its average atomic mass right here is 106.42. So take 106.42, round to the nearest whole number. That gives you 106 is the most common. So no, that example was not the most common. And our last one, we've got iodine 127. You were told 53 electrons. That means 53 protons. That means atomic number 53, which is what makes it iodine. You were given the mass number, and if you do check the periodic table on that one, iodine 127 is the most common form. because its mass number is 126.9. So that means when you round up, 127 is the most common isotope. Okay, so I'm not going to go through the rest of these problems on this chart in the video. I want you to go through and try those on your own, though. If you have questions, bring those to class tomorrow. There also will be a section of your homework, or actually our classwork, that will closely match this section. So our next video is going to pick up here at topic 3.3.2, which is atomic mass.